Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome back to your class of English where we have started the second chapter, No Room for a Leopard. Second means second meant for reading chapter. Here in the picture you can see the writer of the chapter named Ruskin Bond, a famous writer, nature lover, we must say. And he has written this chapter mentioning the leopard who are on the verge of extinction. In the next picture you can see some works or some creation of Ruskin Bond. Many of the stories you have heard and read about him. I've asked you to find out and to make a list of his works. Have you done? If so, then good. If not, then do it after the video. So here we were doing this chapter. We have begun with his story. We have begun with his story of Leopard. No room for leopard. The name of the chapter is No Room for Leopard, where he was describing the beautiful scene of a ravine where a small river was flowing and it was so clear that you can see the pebbles. Many birds and animals were there. He has mentioned about the forest of oak and maple and Himalayan rhododendron. And then he have described the beautiful wild dog roses. Some of the animals like barking deer, pine martens and red fox, to whom he used to watch regularly. And even the animals were accustomed of his presence, as they knew that the writer is not going to harm them. And one day what he witnessed, what he saw, to whom he met, or he has told you about his encounter with a leopard who was perched on a branch of a tree. But somehow he collected his courage and clapped his hand loudly. Silently he left, but as he was waiting for his prey, and he hunted a barking deer. And he was also very much surprised to see leopard there, as it was on the verge of extinction in India. And he was surprised to see one too close to Missouri. And he guessed then that it might be there because of deforestation. They all have shifted, or you can say driven or forced to enter in that green valley. After that he saw the leopard again. And after his second or third encounter, he every time felt, whenever he was out of his home, his cottage, he felt that someone is certainly following him, or he was being followed. One day when he was late getting home, he saw two bright eyes, and he saw that it was leopard who was just staring at him from the bushes. But when the bright eyes were dancing, then he realized that those were not the eyes but the fireflies. So till here we have completed. Now we will continue. Okay, this was a summary of whatever we did. Now here on the next page, you can see the picture. The leopard is on the rock, and here the writer is. This we have done on the second page, second part, second para, at the right side. In May and June, when the hills were brown and dry. It was always cool and green near the stream where ferns and long grasses continue to thrive. May and June is supposed to be the time of summer, when the summers are on its peak. So at that time when the hills were brown and dry, because due to heat there is no vegetation, dry, no water. But at that place, at that ravine near the stream, it was cool, and the ferns and long grasses continue to thrive, to grow. One day I found the remains of a barking deer that had been partially eaten. When he was walking there, what he found? He found the remains of a barking deer. I wondered why the leopard had not hidden the remains of his meal. Probably he had been disturbed while eating. So while moving there, he had found the remains of deer, and it was partially or half eaten. And what is the habit of the animals, flesh-eating animals? They used to eat, and remaining part or remaining animal or half-eaten animal, they used to hide somewhere for his next meal. Then he thought might be he was eating it right now and he was being disturbed. Climbing the hill, I met a party of hunters resting beneath the oaks. They asked me if I had seen a leopard. I said I had not. They said they knew there was a leopard in the forest. As he used to move there in that area, so when he noticed that a half-eaten deer was lying there, and he moved ahead, and when he climbed on the hill, then he met some person, a party of hunters, person who used to hunt animals. They were hunters. So he met a group of hunters who were resting beneath the oaks trees, a type of tree. And the hunters party asked him if he had seen a leopard, and he denied. The writer denied he had not. They said they knew that there was a leopard in the forest. Now see what had been happened. Writer knows that there was a leopard, and even the hunter knows. And they came there to kill him and to take him away. Now, the hunters had seen the carcass of the deer and the leopard's carcass, dead body. The hunters had seen the carcass of the deer and the leopard's, next page, and the leopard's pug marks. And they kept coming to the forest. Means they come to know through the leaving the uneaten or the half-eaten part of the deer. Means some leopard is here. And they are following they were followed by following the pug marks, the foot marks of the leopard. Almost every evening I heard their guns banging away, for they were ready to fire at almost everything. Banging away, making sounds. Because whenever they heard or they felt someone is there, they fired. They're ready to fire. Here, there is a leopard about. They told me, you should carry a gun. I don't have one, I said. And the hunters group suggested the writer that there is a leopard, so you should carry a gun for your own safety. And the writer deny by saying that he had no gun. Okay, before moving ahead, we will discuss this vocabulary. First of all, it is stiff undertaking, is difficult task. Sorrel is a plant with bitter leaves used in salad, soup, and sauces. Nettles, plants with jagged leaves covered with stinging hair. Feline, it's feline, belonging to the cat family. Rafters, sloping beams that support a roof. Next is cavern. Cavern is a large cave. And then lair, a place where a wild animal hides and sleeps. Next is crouched, sitting with limbs bent and body close to the ground. Venture is dare to go. Now moving ahead, the writer denied that he had no gun. There were fewer words to be seen, and even the langurs had moved on. I thought no more of the men. They were unpredictable and to be avoided if possible. Unpredictable, you cannot say what the person do. You are not sure what will be his next action. So it is better for him to avoid them. One day after crossing the stream, I climbed Paritibba, a bleak, scrubbed, covered hill where no one lived. So one day when he was crossing the stream, he climbed to a new place. The name of the place is Paritibba, and it was a bleak, scrubbed, covered hill where no one lived. This was a stiff undertaking because there was no path to the top, and I had to scramble up with the help of rocks and roots. Stiff undertaking, difficult task. This was a difficult task to climb on that hill because there was no way to go on the top. But anyhow, he had managed with the help of rocks and roots. At the top was a plateau with a few pine trees. Plateau whose upper part is flat. It's a hill, but not, it's a, you can say mountain, not having peak, flat. Okay, plateau with a few pine trees. Their upper branches catching the wind and humming softly. There I found the ruins of what must have been the first settlers. Just a few piles of rubble now overgrown with weeds, sorrel, dandelion, and nettles. Anyhow, he has managed to reach on the top, and when he reached there, what he saw on that plateau, it was few pine trees, their upper branches, okay, and the ruins of the first settlers, those who settled there first. And that piles, just a piles of rubble. There were some piles who were now overgrown with weeds, sorrel, dandelion, and nettles. Sorrel, I have told you, it is a plant with bitter leaves. Nettles, again a plant with jagged leaves covered with stinging hair. Okay. Next paragraph. As I walked through the roofless ruins, I was struck by the silence that surrounded me. Roofless ruins means when a house is there, if you have seen an old house, it is broken condition. It is in the broken condition. There is no roof and only you can see the remains of side walls. So this we called roofless ruins. I was struck by the silence. Struck means a strange silence was there. And the silence was so absolute that it seemed to be shouting in my ears. See the beautiful lines. Silence, how can the silence shout in ears? Means the silence is saying something. There was something hidden. But there was something else of which I was becoming increasingly aware. Okay, it was so silent that he was more aware. The strong feline order of one of the cat family. Feline belonging to the cat family. The strong feline order is smell. He felt some smell that belonged to the cat family. I paused and looked about. Paused, stopped, looked about, look here and there. I was alone. There was no movement of dry leaf or loose stone. The ruins were for the most part open to the sky. Okay, no dry leaf movement, no movement of dry leaf, no movement of even a small stone. And the ruins were open because it was roofless. Open to the sky means you can see sky. Their rafters had collapsed and joined together to form a low passage like the entrance to a mine. Their rafters, sloping beams that support a roof. Their supporting beams collapsed, fall down, and they joined together, and it make a low passage, low gallery, like it, and it was looking like an entrance to a mine. An entrance to a mine. This dark cavern seemed to let down. Cavern, cave. Seemed to let down means it was going downwards. The smell of stronger when I approached this spot. So I stopped again and waited there, wondering if I had discovered the lair of the leopard. When he reached there, it was inviting him. Means he want to search more, he want to discover more, he want to know more that what is hidden here. He was very much surprised when he approached. He moved forward, stopped again, and waited like he had discovered something. And what he had discovered? It was a lair. Lair? A place where wild animal hides and sleeps. A lair of leopard. Here, I wondered if the animal was now at rest after a night's hunt. So he was surprised that I found a place, I found a bedroom or the house of the leopard. And if he was sleeping here, why? This time he was sleeping because it was the usual habit of animal like leopard, lion and tiger that they used to walk in their particular area, and they marked their presence by scratching the trees or the objects in the jungle on the mud by scratching with their paws, and at noon they slept. So he was very surprised after the night's hunt. Perhaps it was crouched there in the dark, watching me and recognizing me as a man who walked alone in the forest without a weapon. He thought he might be there and he just waiting for me, crouching, like sitting with limbs bent and body close to the ground, ready to attack. And he was watching him and even recognizing that he is the same person who used to walk in the forest but without weapon. Okay, I like to think that he was there and that he knew me and that he acknowledged my visit in the friendliest way by ignoring me altogether. He was liking this thought that he is aware of my presence, like he is his friend and he know him very well, and he acknowledged him. He come to know that he is the writer is on the visit. The leopard knows that writer is on the visit and he is very friendly. Okay, so he's not going to hurt him. Next paragraph. I did not venture any further. Venture, dare to go. I did not seek physical contact or even another glimpse of that beautiful creature. He had done already too much. Now he thought, now it will be really difficult or dangerous for him to have another encounter at this time. Okay, he did not want to, he want to see, but he did not dare to see another glimpse, another time, the beautiful creature, the beautiful leopard, springing from rock to rock. It was his trust I wanted, and I think he gave it to me. But did the leopard, trusting one man, make the mistake of trusting others? So here the writer beautifully raised a question. What? Now he thought wisely that yes, he has given me many chances. Now do he give him another chance? But did the leopard, trusting one man, making the mistake of trusting others? But it will happen again that he will trust others also. Might be others or other men will hunt him. Okay, so if he is going to be friendly, it is not sure that other men are or other men will be friendly with him, because some men, a party of hunters, are already there in the forest to hunt a leopard. They are ready with their guns to fire the leopard. Coming to the next one. Because next day, coming up the path from the stream, shouting and beating their drums, were the hunters. They had a long bamboo pole across their shoulders, and slung from pole, feet up, head down, was the lifeless body of the leopard. It had been shot in the neck and in the head. He left that place at the same time. And what had happened next day? When he was going, or when he was on the way on the path of the stream, then he heard some shouting and beating the drums. And who were they? They were hunters who were beating the drums and shouting. They were having a long bamboo pole across their shoulders. He was having that pole on their shoulders. Okay, and what he had noticed, what he had seen, it was a lifeless body of leopard whose feet was up, head down, and it was being tied with a rope on that bamboo. And the leopard was shot dead. It was shot in the neck and on the head. Next, here it is written, we told you there was a leopard. They shouted in great good humor, "Isn't he a fine specimen?" They shouted in a good humor, "Oh, we have killed. Isn't he a fine specimen? A great creature." "Yes," I said, "he was a beautiful leopard." I walked home through the silent forest. It was very silent, almost as though the birds and animals knew their trust had been violated. It was too silent that no one was moving, no one was chattering, no one was making sound. They understood, the birds and animals, they understood, they knew that their trust had been disregarded. Their trust had been betrayed. One of the part of the forest, one of the animal has been killed. I remember the lines of a poem by D.H. Lawrence. D.H. Lawrence, a famous poet writer. So here the writer sum up with a quote with a poem of D.H. Lawrence. "And as I climbed the steep and lonely path to my home, these words echoed in my mind." At that time he reminded the words, and when he was climbing up, he was going to the steep, and he was going lonely, he was going on the lonely path, he was moving to his home. Some words that he has reminded at that time, the words were echoed in his mind. And what was the line? There was room in the world. There was room in the world for a mountain lion and me. Okay, this was a poem written by D.H. Lawrence, which were remembered or reminded by the writer. So here this was the story of the chapter. Okay, no room for leopard. No room for a leopard means no place for a leopard. It is being killed. This chapter meant for reading. That's why I have read it and discussed it with you. Now, some of the question that I will pose to you. First of all, we will start with page number 1. Question number 1 is, who is the writer of the chapter? So answer is Ruskin Bond. Next question is, when the writer saw the leopard firstly. So he saw the leopard when he was crossing the small stream. Where was the stream? Where was the small stream? It was at the bottom of the hill. What is ravine? A ravine is a... Yes. Next question. And the question number 3 is, third question is, mention some of the trees in the forest. Answer is, it was oak, maple and Himalayan rhododendron. Okay. Next question is about the animals. That name some animals that the writer has seen in the forest. It was barking deer, pine martens and red fox. And yes, of course, the leopard, a leopard. And langurs, so around 5 if we are going to give the answers, it will be fine. Okay, then coming to the next paragraph. Okay, so who has warned the writer about some hidden danger? Who has warned the writer about some hidden dangers? And the answer is, it was langur. Not a one langur, it was langurs. Okay. What was came rattling down the steep hillside? It was a shower of pebbles. It was a shower of pebbles. Where the writer has seen the leopard first time. Next question is where the writer has seen the leopard first time. He has seen the leopard on a rock. On a rock. Next question is what the leopard was waiting for. Answer is the leopard was waiting for his prey. Waiting for his prey. Next question is did the leopard attack on the writer? Did the leopard attack on the writer? No. The leopard moved silently. The leopard moved silently. Name some other Next question is name some other members of the cat family except of leopard. So answer is simple. First of all, except from leopard, it is lion, panther, tiger. These are the members of cat family. Where did he find the leopard? It was the place close to Missouri. Okay, it was the place close to Missouri where the writer has seen the leopard. I think we have covered around 8 questions. Next question or question number 9 is why the deer were entered in that green valley. Why the deer entered in that green valley? Answer is the deforestation. Due to, answer you will write like due to deforestation, the deer or other animals had driven into the green valley. Okay. When was the writer afraid? When was the writer afraid? Answer is after returning to home at night when he saw two bright eyes who were staring at him. He felt afraid. Okay. Then when were the hills brown and dry? When were the hills brown and dry? In May and June, the hills were brown and dry. Next question is why was the animal lived in that valley? Why were the animals lived in that valley? Because it was too deep. Second, it was very pleasant there. Third, a small presence of a small stream make the animal life easy, and it was the good place for them to hide. Okay. Yes. Next question is one day I found the remains of a barking deer and had been partially eaten. So for this we will frame a question. What did the writer find one day? It was the remains of a barking deer. Okay. While climbing the hill, to whom the writer met. While climbing the hills, to whom the writer met. The writer met to a party of hunters. To a party of hunters. What did the hunters tell the writer? What did the hunters tell the writer? The hunters told the writers that they had seen the carcass of a deer. And what did the hunter or the party of hunter warn the writer? They warned him to be alert as they have seen a leopard there in the forest. Answer is, they warned him to be alert as they have seen or noticed. They have not seen, they have noticed the presence of a leopard in the forest. And they also suggested him to have a gun with him. Did the writer was agree to have the gun? Did the writer was agree to have the gun? No, the writer was not agree to have the gun with him. Okay, I need not any text. I am just framing question on my own. But here we have covered till this page. So moving to the next one. And the next is, where did the writer reached one day? It was easy for him? No. One day the writer climbed Paritibba, a bleak scrub-covered hill, and it was not easy for him as there was no way, no path available for him to reach. Okay. What did he notice there, or what did he find there? He found the ruins of first settlers. The ruins of first settlers. What did he notice there? He, again you can write, he noticed a strange silence there. He was very much aware of the silence. What is the meaning of word feline? Here it is. What is the meaning of the word feline? Feline, the meaning of the word is belonging to the cat family. Okay. So, did he find any lair? Yes, he find a lair. He has find out that it was a lair of the leopard. Did the leopard allow him to go? Yes, he allowed him to go, as he was not aware of his presence. As we know that it was the wise decision of writer that he dare not to move ahead, because he thought that leopard might know that the writer is not going to harm him. So it is the matter of trust. But somewhere, if the leopard see the next man or the some other man, it might be hunter, and the leopard will think that the hunter would not hurt him. But the reality is, the hunters are ready to shoot him dead with their gun. So he decided to move ahead. And what was happened at the last day or the next day? Next day, the writer heard some sound of shouting and beating. He had seen a dead leopard. And what did the hunters celebrate? or were celebrating? They were celebrating the death of Leopard. Name one other poet or writer. Next question is, name one other writer or poet mentioned in the chapter. Yes, it is the other writer, or the famous writer mentioned in the chapter is D.H. Lawrence. Is D.H. Lawrence. So here we have done this chapter. Okay, at last the writer felt very bad, and he has proved that he was a nature lover. He likes nature, trees, mountain, river, animals. As he has described leopard as a beautiful creature, despite of being dangerous, he has encountered him many a time. He was afraid of his presence, still wanted to know more about the animal. So we have done the reading chapter also. Now read it again, enjoy the story. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.